Alright guys, welcome back. This is Vark with Vark in the Lab, and this is my second Ganondorf Advanced Movement Guide. And today I want to go over Moondroping. I get a lot of comments, a lot of questions on how I do my waveland pivots into edgeguard setups. And, you know, it's not anything new. You'll see a lot of players. Squid the Cat talks about it a lot. He does it with Falcon. A lot of Marth players learned it on accident, and they push it pretty heavily in their Discord on, you know, on ways to do it. There's even like a method to buffer it, but we'll go over that a bit later. But I'm gonna break this up into 3 sections. The first section is gonna be in easy mode, how to lab it. The second mode is gonna be more of how to do it with platforms, how to start incorporating it in the game. And the third one, I'm gonna give you guys a set play for it. So without further ado, let's get started. To lab this, I highly recommend you guys get on Jungle Japes. And you might be asking, why Jungle Japes? Well, the cool thing about Jungle Japes is that there is a ledge here where you can grab both sides. And to perform a Moondrop, you need your perfect waveland, which is a straight directional waveland, to get you into teeter. When you confirm that you're on teeter, that is when you can Moondrop. It's a nice indicator. Once you realize this, you're going to start getting them more and more often. But how to practice it? So I would start off by just doing ledge dashes. If you don't know how to ledge dash, I would lab that out for a bit. This is a more advanced guide, so I'm kind of hoping that a lot of you out there can already do this. So I would just get this down a couple times, make sure you can get it. Make sure you get into the teeter. And once you get comfortable with getting to the teeter, the idea is to hit back on that frame. And you can either hit back, as you saw on the controller, I just tapped back. There is a method where you can buffer it with down back. And that is a method Renth taught me a while ago. It's more of a GameCube controller friendly method. At least he says. I still think flicking on the GameCube controller is better for me. But I'll link a thread in the comments for Renth's write-up for how to manipulate it with the down back method. And I prefer the down back method as well on the box. I always flick down and back at the same time. So I'll do a perfect waveland, and I'll input a down and back input. But realistically, you just need to hit back. You don't need to input the down frame. I just think it makes it a bit easier. And as you get better, you're going to be able to go back and forth. And, you know, you can make a game out of it. You can see how many you can get in a row. And, I mean, I have a video on my Twitch where I got, I think, 24 in a row. And I would just get really comfortable with being able to loop this over and over and over again. You know what they say, fear the man who labbed the thing 1,000 times, you know? And I would say this is part 1. If I would not go to part 2 until you can do this maybe 5 to 10 times in a row. And let's go on to step number 2. All right, welcome to part 2. This is going to be the medium mode. Now that we're done practicing this over and over again, hopefully you've practiced this at home. And gotten to maybe about a 60 to 70% consistency, you can maybe start, you know, trying to find ways to make it work in a game. And now, it's not going to be as easy as Jungle Japes, because you're not consistently in the same spot to give you the teeter every time. Or at least giving you the momentum from the full waveland. There's going to be times where you're too close or too far away. I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. When you go for the 0 degree waveland here, you get cut. And I've found I cannot get the drop here. There might be a way to do it if you angle it or something. I do know Renth has gotten really tight ones before. And I'll link his guide on how to get them. But for me personally, on a box, I find them pretty hard to do or borderline impossible. Might make a future guide on that if I ever figure it out. But for now, I'm showing you my consistent method on how to get this about a 90% consistency, maybe more. I think this is something you can get down and lab to a T. So that's how you mess it up. If you're too close, warning, I would not go for this. I would get to the teeter and wave dash back instead maybe, or just pick another option. So generally I like to use it from center stage or up here. And I'll go over this one first where we're at center stage. The cool part is you do it from a full hop or a run under. So you want to start the run and come in a little bit late, around the 30% range, because we do want to make sure we get the full length of the waveland. If we do the waveland too early, we're not going to make the teeter. So we want to delay the jump as much as possible if we do the full hop. So if we do the full hop, delay it. So I want full hop, delay. Wait for Ganon to come down. Don't do an angled wave dash. Don't do it too early. Let it play out and get to the teeter. And once you get to the teeter, you can start incorporating the tech that you've labbed in section 1. And you'll notice as you get used to it, you're going to start seeing these scenarios more. You know, you're going to land a fair on someone. They're going to go flying. And you're going to be like, oh shit, I don't have to go like this and, you know, try to make up my own like custom edgeguard combo when you can hit them, delay, nice and soft, come at them, boom. You're at the ledge already. You just snap teleport to the ledge. And there's some other ways I like to practice this. If you're good at ledge dashing and you're good at moonwalking, I like to do a little loop where I come up here and I come up to the teeter. And the teeter part is interesting. You can drop through the teeter and wave land off. And as you noticed, where I'm landing is at that 30% range on the platform that can confirm the waveland, the perfect waveland, to make you to make it to the teeter. So you'd come up here, fall down, and then boom, every time. And as long as you can get pretty consistent at this, you know, I've found this is a pretty nice method to lab over and over and over again. It's good for the muscle memory. You know, do it a couple times. If this is a tech you want to incorporate in your game, you'll get better at it over time. I wouldn't worry about like how good I've gotten at it. You know, don't use me as a metric. I've been playing this game for a very long time. Work on it. It might this is a tech that might take you months, possibly even a year plus to get really good at. But that was just me. It took me a long time to get good at this. I have played with other Ganons that have absorbed it like a sponge, and they've just started using it back at me. You know, and I do think this is something you could learn quick. Sunrise, an example, a Ganondorf in the Ganon Discord, really good at absorbing what he sees. And I played him a couple times, and he just started using it back at me. And so it depends what kind of player you are. Some people just get the feel for it. Some people have to lab it. I'm just giving you just the tools to access this. And that's it for section 2. Alright guys, welcome to part 3 for the Moondroping guide. Before you start, make sure you are in Uncle Punch in the training mode section, because we are going to make some recordings here. This is a set play section. This is going to be the hardest one, and the most applicable in a real game. So first things first is that we do want to make a recording, and I'll try to explain this as quickly as possible if you are new on how to set a recording. And if you do know how to make a recording, I'll put a timestamp down below when it's over. So first things first, I'm going to go into general and change CPU options. Sorry, we want to change the opponent. Put him at about 60% here. And custom TDI is a section of the training mode that lets you set Fox's DI pretty much. So I'm going to have him hold in. So I just held in and I hit A. So the first hit, he's going to hold in. So I'm going to get out of here. And what I'm going to do is go to recording and save. So that saved him at 60 HP and in the position that we're at. So now I'm going to tell you how to create the scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fair him, hit start, and save position. This is going to make Fox fling off the stage, and once you have that set up, You can go back to it as many times as you want. We can go to CPU mode and take control of him. But actually, what we want to do is record. And basically, what I want you guys to do is just get a crispy side B grab. And once you get that, go to playback, you've saved it. So you'll notice now that Fox is going to side B every time. And the great part about the Moondrop is that the Moondrop is perfect for punishing this option. So you'll notice you'll practice it, and you do have to be pretty quick, you know. Boom, you grab the ledge. And there is ways to fast fall it if you want to get, if you're super cracked, you can fast fall it. It is a bit harder to fast fall it, but you can do it. Especially when Fox is at maybe a lower percent. But, you know, lab this out a couple times, see how much you can grab the ledge. You'll notice if you don't get the teeter and you go for the moonwalk, you might not. It's a bit less consistent. You're going to get your ass shined. So try to get crispy with these. You really do not want to get a moonwalk here. Very punishing if you get the moonwalk or if you're not fast enough. So do try to practice to get here as quickly as possible. So now that we have that out of the way, and every time you edgeguard Fox and you know he's below or basically perpendicular to the ledge, always aim for the side B with this option. Because the great thing is, once you basically confirm he's going to side B and he has to side B, or go lower and up B, you have time to cover both options, which a lot of Ganondorfs, I feel, do not cover both options. A lot of them like to run up here and kind of like, maybe I'll try to tip menu and down tilt, or they'll try to get there quick enough, and it just, you know, it'll work sometimes where they'll run out, they'll get a fair, but we do want to get some consistent options. You know, we are a bad character, so we do need extraordinary options to cover, you know, something. So hopefully you still have the recording from the previous one. If not, you can go back and rebuild it. But we are going to add a bit more to it. So we're going to hit start, and we're going to change the CPU recording to slot 2. And we are going to change the playback back to record. So we're going to have that same send off from the fair, but this time we're going to go a bit low and recover with a Fox up B. And hopefully, if you are an advanced Ganondorf player watching this, you already know how to edgeguard Fox. So I'm only going to give you maybe 1 or 2 examples here. I feel a full edgeguarding tutorial might be something else down the road, or some, you know, there's a lot of other methods and information on Discord that you can find out how to edgeguard Fox. But the idea is that you're going to be able to punish Fox's side B, and Fox hasn't even started his up B yet. That is the beauty of this tech, and you have all the time in the world to react to punishing his up B angle. So now that we have that recorded, I want you to visually always respect the side B. We are going to punish the side B no matter what. Boom, we punish the side B and recognize how low Fox is. We have plenty of time in the world to refresh our intangibility and snipe Fox from the ground. This is why this is so strong. Just be careful. If you are not crispy enough or quick enough at refreshing your intangibility, you can let him back on the stage, or you can get hit for it. Like this. You hit him back on the stage if you're too late, or you just let him back. So make sure you're quick enough so you can refresh your intangibility and snipe Fox when he comes up like that. Just make sure you're fast enough. And that's it for this version of the up B. Alright, welcome to the next section. If you've made it this far, you've probably finished all the previous versions, and you've gotten pretty consistent at it, to the point where you're taking it in games, and successfully punishing the side B and using your execution to punish the up B. But you've probably realized by now that Vark, sometimes he's not always perpendicular to the ledge. A lot of Foxes like to double jump and side B back to stage, or double jump above and sweet spot the ledge, and a lot of the times when I go for this I end up dying, or just giving up stage control I didn't intend to. So here's the section that we're going to go over those specific versions. This is much harder and much faster. I did say before I am going to explore and show you guys what it looks like to do when Fox is a bit lower. So we are going to make a new setting with Fox at about 35. The same TDI, so just have him holding in. And we'll save that again. And because this is a new fresh one, we're going to make sure we get that fair nice and crispy before saving it. And what we're going to do is record a nice fast side B. A nice double jump side B. Like about, there's fine, or that one's fine. So let's quickly go over how we're going to hit this. We'll put on playback. And you're going to notice going for the Moondrop is pointless. You're like, oh shit, now Fox is on center stage and I'm Ganondorf on the ledge. Which is not the worst scenario, but it's not the best. So generally, if you expect them to do a quick instant recovery, I would opt out of Moondrop ledge grabbing. Instead, you're going to have to think a little bit ahead, and you're going to have to start shooting aerials out of the Moondrops, like so. So we can catch them with the bear if we're quick enough. If you're a bit slow, you're going to get hit by the side B. But as you can see, at this percent, at how quickly he can make it back, you can get a back air here. Now, you can get an up here as well, but depending on the height of Fox and the distance of Fox, it's not always going to hit. So I think bear is the best option for the initial coverage of the side B. So here's where things get a little fun. We are going to now check out what this looks like when you go for the back air against someone who up-Bs. Alright, and now up B above the ledge. So we covered the side B with the back air from the aerial, from the Moondrop. And this is going to be very similar to the first two sections. We still want to visually punish the side B every time. So this is the greatest part about this tech, is that you can cover both at the same time. No matter if he's perpendicular, under the ledge, or above. We have options for them all. So you hopefully you still have the side B recording. We're going to go ahead and change it. The CPU recording slot. Don't make sure you're not doing the human one. I catch myself doing that. So change the CPU recording slot to 2. And we're going to record a sweet spot up B. And just let that play back for a minute. And go for the back air a couple times. You know, and notice how much time you have to actually get a double jump Tipman. And this is where the beauty happens. And I know it might be juicy to maybe go for a read and, like, you know, do something like that. If you want to play optimally, I do think you should be going for this bear if they're above ledge, because you can cover multiple options like that. And you get the back air and you get the Tipman. This might take a while to get. As you see, I'm still dropping it a little bit. This is something I am very impressed with myself when I land, and I encourage you guys to lab this out to extreme consistency. It's very good of a call out. And just to give you, I guess, kind of an understanding of when to go for this, the way I look at edge guarding is just a bunch of 50-50s. From this fair, based on how I'm playing against somebody, you can kind of get like a feel if they're going to go low or high, and how much times you call it out matters. You know, you're going to tend to see players that you've conditioned to go low and you've conditioned to go high. This isn't really a skill anyone can really teach. This is just something that you get throughout experiencing Melee for many years. So just keep that in mind when you go for this, that a lot of these edge guards are 50-50s from the aerial. The 50-50 is not the edge guard itself. The 50-50 is deciding if you are going to leave the moment the fair comes out. This is the 50. Once you're here, you've already committed to a 50-50. You've committed to them recovering high or perpendicular and lower to the ledge. I just want to make sure you guys keep that in mind when accepting a 50-50 for an edge guard with the Moondrops. Alright, I just wanted to make one more mini section, and I just wanted to show you that it doesn't have to only be Fox for you to do this option. You know, there's a lot of other characters that like to delay their timings and try to mix up around that area. And I'm going to give you a nice example with Marth here. So, make that same scenario, set him to like 45 or 50, and hit him with a fair and get a nice recording of him burying Marth and getting the L cancel. And just take over Marth. And we're going to do one of those weird delayed Cybees Marths like to do. And this is, you want to go for this when the Marth player hasn't really decided to go low yet. I feel a lot of Marths choose to go low when they've been punished for this option. A lot of Marths like to do this option first, or they'll mix it in, and it's going to go back to that same concept of playing the 50-50. So now that we have that recording, we're going to play it back, and you're going to notice the aerial that we did in the last portion of the guide is going to work here. Especially up air. Tipman's going to work a lot here, unlike with Fox. Back air is going to work really good. You can delay it a bit. There's a lot of ways to finesse around here to grab the ledge. You don't have to hit him. You can chill here. You can grab ledge and do a drop aerial. Honestly, I think Marth, this is a really bad recovery for Marth. The only strength that it is that it is a mix-up. So if you're expecting Marth to go low, you're probably panicking and not really, you haven't decided to commit for this option. So just keep that in mind when you approach Marth. And good luck, guys. This stuff takes a long time to learn, and I hope to see some nasty clips in the Ganondorf.